Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and another random test. Now this kind of follows on from a test video I did quite a few months ago now, but I've only just got round to doing it. And there's also a few little questions I've had in my own head which I'm hoping to answer today as well. So I'm hoping this video helps you guys out and you find it useful, or it might just be complete nonsense, but we'll see. But that video I did a few months ago was about which log length pays you the most money, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but if you haven't checked it out, I will put a link to that video in the description of this video, so feel free to check it out. Some interesting results. Now, one of the questions that kind of came up in the comments was about the sell point trigger and how much of the tree or log is actually in the sell point and not in the sell point. Does it make a difference? So I'm going to kind of answer that in this video, and then like I say, there's a couple of other things that popped up into my head and I thought, oh, I wonder if this happens or that doesn't happen, or if this works with that. So again, we will try and hopefully cover all bases. Now I've set up, I've loaded, I've saved the game rather. I've cut this tree down here, which is quite a long tree, 15.4 meters. Cut it down and I've saved it at this point. We've got a sell anything sell point here, and I've also got this guy. This is only just to push things into the sell point if need be, and obviously the tree harvester over there. Now I am hoping over here, this is the sell everything sell point for the wood. We are at 17.97 for the wood, so hopefully every time we load back in at this point we will still be there. I will be checking that price every time before we sell. So my first little experiment is to grab this tree, and we're not even going to strip it. We are literally just going to dump it in the sell point. And what does that do? Now some of you probably already know the answer to this. Right, I should be able to drop that down like that. Oh, thank you for flicking that right out of the way. That's fine, because that is why we've got this guy over here. So we'll jump in, and I'm just going to literally push that onto the sell point and we'll sell it. And I'm going to be taking notes of all this as well, so we can refer back to what it is. Right, there we go. Just kind of get used to, oh dear, come on, there we go, pressing the wrong buttons. Right, that will do for me. Okay, so let's just double check. 17.97. What do we get for this? 618, which is terrible. So there we go. I'm going to make a note of that, and then we will move on to the next one. So I will see you in a second. Okay, moving on to number 2. We've loaded in at exactly the same point. If I come down to here and wood, we are at 17.97. So what I'm going to do now is hop into here, and I've left the help menu on because that's going to help me see what's going on. We are just going to strip this tree. That is all we're going to do. So I've got the cut length set to max, so that should run all the way through this tree, stripping all the branches off, and leave it like that. That is awesome. Okay, now what happens when we sell this? 1,324. What a difference that is. That is more than doubled. So there we go. You definitely, first answer is strip your branches. Okay, now let's move on to number 3. Right, back again. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to strip this tree again, and this hopefully will answer the question that was raised up in my previous video about the amount of tree that actually is in the trigger. So we're going to strip that maximum, like so, and I'm going to have to jump into this guy, and I want to literally just tuck in the bare minimum. Like so. Well, hopefully that will stay there. So double check on the price. Should be $17.97 still. Yes, we are. So there's literally just a tiny corner. It might not even sell, to be honest with you, but hopefully it will. Get a good camera angle. There we go. $13.24, exactly the same. So it doesn't matter if you've got a lot of the tree hanging out of the sell point, it's still going to register as selling the whole tree. So that answers that question. Now I'm going to move on now to cut in the tree into lengths of 8 meters, because it's normally around 6 to 8 meters. So we'll check that out. Okay, so we're back. Now I haven't watched my video back on the lengths of timber, how much it will get, but I've just found my old notes. It actually looks like 9 meters was the best length to sell at, but I am going to sell these at 8 meters. It doesn't really matter, this is purely just to see the price difference, and like I say, most of us will already know the answer to this. It is quite a common thing now in farm sim about selling your logs, what sort of length. So I'm going to change that over to 8 meters. Hopefully I can get these in the zone. And as we've just found out, it doesn't really matter if some of them are sticking out. Right. So double check, $17.97. We'll sell both of those. Look at that, 1,810. So it does pay you to chop your logs up, should I say, into 6 to 9 meters. Probably 8 or 9 would be better, depending on your tree harvester. Right, another thing I had in my head, and I'm going to load back in at the same point, is what about loading into production? So we're going to forget about selling now. So does it make a difference, all those little tests I've done on the tree, does it make a difference to the amount that's going into the production? So we're going to put a sawmill down. Now you'd think that it wouldn't, so because it is basically the same length of tree, same amount of wood, but then the prices, why are the prices all different? The only thing I can think of is they're assuming that 8 meter lengths of logs are probably better to work with. So I don't know, I'm just making that up, but we're going to find out in a second. So I'll load back in and we'll go through that process as well. Right, so we're back in. Now the price doesn't matter at all to us now, that's irrelevant. So we will sell that, sell anything, sell point. And now we're going to go into productions and factories all the way to the end, part of the platinum expansion. It doesn't really matter again for this test, any sawmill would have done, but because we're on here and this is what's happening, I'm going to load this guy and place that down. What I'm going to do now is save the game quickly, because then we can just load back into this point. I don't have to do all that again that you've just seen. And obviously we do know that that tree has been cut the same, it's always been that sort of length. like so. Now I'm gonna keep the branches on. I'm literally just gonna try and reverse into there and put that into our sawmill, because obviously that is our sawmill. We don't have to worry about selling it or anything like that. Hopefully it's gonna let me. That is awful. There we go, that's better. That should do it. Come on, let me in under there, please. Right, that should be enough. Now, if I drop that off of there, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, but we will do that. So there we go. Tree with the branches on. How much does that put in? Now, we don't need to look into the production menu. It says there, bottom right, 1,525, but I will just double check. 1,525. Okay, I'll make a note of that, and let's go through the whole process again. So I'll see you for the second experiment. Okay, back again, and now this time we are going to strip that, but it's going to be a full length into there. Now technically you'd think you'd get a little bit more for the branches. We are going to strip them off and see what happens. So hopefully I can go something like that, and I should be on maximum. There we go, straight down into the zone. Perfect. Oh, smash my head on the harvester. So we will drop that in there, and as you can see, bottom right, 1,525, so it made no difference at all. So we're going to load in again, and we're going to strip the branches off. We know what's coming, and I'm just going to tuck the bare minimum in there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 1,525, but we will make sure. Right, back again. So I'm going to see if I can just literally strip that so it pokes a tiny bit in. I'm probably going to need the... Right, okay, that didn't work, did it? That was terrible. We'll grab this guy though. We should be able to push that across and in like that. And if I kind of attack it at that angle, come on, there we go, look, bare minimum 1,525. We thought that was coming, but there we go. One final test. I'm going to do the 8-meter lengths and see what happens there. Okay, back again. This is the final one, guys. So thank you if you are still here watching my madness. So we're going to load this up. I'm going to change this to 8 meters. There we go. I'm going to try and back up and swing that round and in, hopefully. Something like that. And we'll turn that off. And we will go and put that into our production. Ooh. Now that's interesting. 1,509 litres. So it's less. Now you would imagine that that's taken into account the width of the saw blade, and if we look at this, that's pretty much a chainsaw blade hidden in under there. But that's 16 though. That's still, wow, it's a bit more than I was expecting for just a thin sort of blade cut, but there we go. So not a huge amount of difference, but you could gain a little bit more by chucking full length logs in there, or trees, whatever. But thank you so much. If you are still here at the end, really appreciate that. I hope it has answered a few questions. It certainly answered some questions that I had bouncing around in my stupid brain. But if you have found it useful and enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, guys. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. That'd be awesome. And don't forget to smash that bell so you don't miss any future videos of mine. I've been Farm Sim Snowy. Stay frosty.